Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast special edition show on this Wednesday evening. The NBA schedule for the 2022-23 schedule is out. I'm going to look at the entire thing and react as I go through the schedule. So this should be a lot of fun. As we know, Tuesday, October 18th, we talked about this on the podcast a couple days ago. Sixers at the Celtics from TD Garden. And Lakers at the Warriors from the Chase Center is your doubleheader on TNT. Only fair that the Warriors get the rings on opening night. That's what happens every year. But I like that they put the runner-up for the title having their home opener in this window as well, because they dissed the Suns last year and they put them in the ESPN Wednesday night spot last year. So good job by the NBA by giving the Boston Celtics that first game of the season. And the Warriors get their rings in the second game because obviously Boston's East Coast, Golden State's West Coast. So makes sense that way. Now move on to Wednesday the 19th. So now we're getting into the parts of the schedule that I was unaware of before this moment. So let's see here. Wednesday the 19th, you have Orlando at Detroit at 7, Wizards at the Pacers, Rockets at the Hawks at 7:30. So that's Jalen Green against Trae Young. 7:30, you have the Pelicans at the Nets. So surprisingly, that's not on ESPN. You have the Bulls at the Heat, the Cavs at the Raptors, and opening the season on ESPN, you have the Knicks at the Grizzlies. So RJ Barrett at Ja Morant. So that's really interesting that the Grizzlies get this special home game to start the season on ESPN against Barrett and the Knicks, who are looking to bounce back from their dismal year from a year ago. Cavs Raptors is a good game. So is Bulls Heat. Pelicans Nets is really good too. Knicks Grizzlies has a chance, depending on if the Knicks get Donovan Mitchell. So I wonder if the Knicks get a lot of national games because of the percentage, like the possibility of them getting Donovan Mitchell. So we'll see about that. 8 o'clock, you have the Thunder at the Timberwolves. Even that's a good game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren against Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. Hornets at the Spurs. That's not a great game. 9 o'clock, Denver at the Jazz. That would have been a good game a year ago. 10 o'clock, ESPN, you have the Mavericks at the Suns. Like, that was the exact same game that was in the ESPN opening nightcap spot last year. It was Mavericks at the Suns. And then the first game was Boston at New York. So the Knicks are still in that doubleheader spot, but instead of home against Boston, they're at Memphis. And then the Mavericks are at the Suns for the second year in a row, it feels like, on ESPN to start the season. And then also at 10 o'clock the Knights, the Trailblazers at the Kings. All right, Thursday, the TNT game for Thursday, the first opening TNT game on a Thursday is the Bucks at the 76ers. I think that was leaked, and I talked about that on the podcast already. So Giannis against Embiid. And at 10 o'clock, TNT Battle of LA, the Lakers home opener against the Clippers. So that'd be the first time. It'll be Anthony Davis and LeBron James against Kawhi and Paul George for the first time in almost 2 years. Friday the 21st, you have 11 games. 7 o'clock, you have the Pelicans at the Hornets, the Spurs at the Pacers, the Bulls at the Wizards, 7:30, the Magic at the Hawks. A little bit more interesting now with Paolo on Orlando, and they'll be playing Trae and the Hawks. Toronto at Brooklyn, depending on Durant, whether that's a good game or not. Great game on ESPN. Boston at Miami. Excellent game on ESPN that night. That's the conference finals rematch. And then the Knicks home opener against the Pistons. 8 o'clock, you have the Grizzlies at the Rockets, the Jazz at the Timberwolves, and 10 o'clock on ESPN, a great game between the Nuggets and the Warriors. And also that night, Suns at the Trailblazers. Saturday the 22nd, 9 games. I said the 9th because I saw the 9 there. 9 games. All right, 6 o'clock Eastern on NBA TV. You have the Spurs at the Philadelphia 76ers. 7 o'clock, you have the Pistons at the Pacers. Boston, Orlando. 8 o'clock, Toronto, Miami. That's a good game. Cavs, Bulls. Could be a good game. Rockets, Bucks. So Jalen Green and Jabari Smith against Giannis. 8:30 NBA TV, the Mavericks home opener as they host Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. That's a really good game. So Luka against Ja. 9 o'clock, you have the Thunder at the Nuggets. 10 o'clock, you have the Clippers at the Kings. Sunday the 23rd, 7 games. 3:30, you have the Blazers at the Lakers. So the Lakers are the matinee home game. 5 o'clock, you have the Hornets at the Hawks. So LaMelo against Trey. 7 o'clock, the Wizards at the Cavaliers. The Jazz at the Pelicans. 8 o'clock, you have the Timberwolves at the Thunder. 8:30, you have the Kings at the Warriors. 10 o'clock, NBA TV, you have the Suns at the Clippers. Monday the 24th, 8 games. So you have 7 o'clock, Pacers at the Sixers. 7:30, Raptors at the Heat. NBA TV, you have Orlando at the Knicks. 8 o'clock, you have Boston at Chicago. That's a good game. Jazz at the Rockets. Brooklyn at Memphis. That's a good game depending on Durant. 8 o'clock, also Spurs, Timberwolves. 10 o'clock, NBA TV, the Nuggets at the Trailblazers. Tuesday the 25th. Now we're just going to go through national games and some good games of note. So 7:30 TNT on the 25th, you have the Mavericks at the Pelicans. So Luka at Zion. And at 10 o'clock TNT, you have the Warriors at the Suns. That's a great game. Wednesday the 26th. 7:30 ESPN is the Nets at the Bucks. So Durant at Giannis. Sixers Raptors is a good game too. That's also at 7:30. 10 o'clock ESPN, you have the Lakers at the Nuggets. The 27th. So NBA TV, the Mavericks at the Nets. So no TNT on the 27th of October. That makes sense because they do the opening Thursday, and once football's done, they go back to Thursdays and Tuesdays. And then college football also has a game on Thursdays as well. So NBA TV, Thursday the 27th is the Mavericks at the Nets. So Luka, Durant. And 10 o'clock NBA TV, you have the Heat at the Warriors. That's a decent game. Memphis-Sacramento is not that terrible of a game, and neither is Clippers-OKC. The latter of those two I just mentioned is at 8, and the former, Grizzlies-Kings, is at 10. So those two actually have potential. Oh, I just noticed something, guys. Oklahoma City changed their arena name to the Paycom Center. I had no idea about that. So it's not Chesapeake anymore. So, interesting. Friday, October 28th, 11 games. On ESPN at 7:30, you have the Pacers at the Wizards. That is not a good game. That game has no business being on ESPN. Sixers Raptors again from Toronto. That should be ESPN. Or even Cavaliers Celtics is a better game than that. And you could argue even Hawks at the Pistons, which is a 7 o'clock game because it's Cade against Trey. 8 o'clock that night's Knicks Bucks. Lakers Timberwolves could be a good game. And then the latter game on ESPN, the latter half game, is the Pelicans at the Suns, so playoff rematch there. Saturday the 29th. NBA TV, 8 o'clock, Sixers at the Bulls. That's a decent game. And then Steph and Charlotte's the 29th. That, I don't know why, but I think it's because of Del Curry's presence. Golden State and Charlotte's a big deal. Sunday the 30th, 8 games. Knicks Cavs is at 6 o'clock. That's not a bad game. 7 o'clock NBA TV. You have the Timberwolves at the Spurs. I don't know why that's on NBA TV. Golden State, Detroit's not bad. That's a 6 o'clock game. 9:30 Nuggets at the Lakers. On Halloween night, 7 games. 7:30 NBA TV. You have the Pacers at the Nets. And that's it for the month of October. Now I'll move on to November. So some interesting games so far on the slate. So November 1st will fall on a Monday. 4 games. TNT 7:30. How about this? Orlando at OKC. So how about that? Paolo against Holmgren. I love that. I like that some of these bad teams are getting respect early on. If you want to put a bad team on national TV, do it earlier in the year. Bravo. That's pretty cool. And then the latter half game on TNT is the Timberwolves at the Suns. Wednesday, November 2nd, the ESPN 7:30 game is Hornets at the Bulls. Other games on that night that are of note: Boston at Cleveland, decent. Sacramento at Miami at 7:30 could be decent. Hawks at the Knicks, Trae Young in the Garden. Surprised that's not ESPN. That should be the ESPN game over Charlotte, Chicago, honestly. But I get it. It's LaMelo against Lonzo, but Hawks-Knicks is a better game. And then the 10 o'clock ESPN game is Memphis at Portland, so Ja against Dame. Actually, no TNT doubleheader on November 3rd. 8 o'clock on NBA TV on November 3rd is the Nuggets at the Thunder. Friday, November 4th, 12 games. The ESPN game at 7:30 is Bulls at the Celtics. Also that night, Cavs-Pistons isn't bad. Knicks 76ers is that night too. And the latter half on ESPN is Bucks at the Timberwolves. So Giannis at Anthony Edwards and Cat. Toronto-Dallas is a decent game. New Orleans hosting Golden State that night. That's interesting as well. And then Saturday, November 5th, 8 games. NBA TV 7:30 of the Celtics at the Knicks from the Garden. I feel like every Boston Knicks game is on NBA TV. Just feels like that. Although one game between Boston and New York from the Garden was on ESPN. The other one was on TNT, and they were both absolute thrillers. With the overtime win on opening night last year, and then RJ Barrett with the buzzer beater, like later on in the season. And then both Knicks at Boston games were NBA TV last year. Pelicans Hawks isn't a bad game either. That's also at 7:30 that night. Even Thunder Bucks isn't bad. That's at 8 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock NBA TV of the Blazers at the Suns. Sunday, November 6th, no games on national TV. Best game on the board that day is probably the Bulls at the Raptors at 6 o'clock. Monday, November 7th, 15 games. So every team is playing on the 7th. And we'll discuss why in a moment. We'll see if there's any national games. How about this? Pacers, Pelicans, 7:45. And then Rockets, Magic, 7:15. When do you ever see the 15 and 45 start times in the NBA? You see them in baseball. You see them in football. You actually see them in hockey sometimes. Sometimes you get the occasional 10-15 back when NBCSN had the games. But you've never seen that in the NBA. So that's interesting. So the NBA TV game at 8 o'clock that night is Suns at the 76ers. That's a really good game. Wow, so like every game that night is starting at a different time. 7, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, 10, 10:15. And at 10:30 NBA TV is the Cavs at the Clippers. So you never see that in the NBA, how every game of 15 is a different start time. Like, that is just bizarre. And some other good games that night. 8:45 is Raptors Bulls. 9 o'clock is Boston Memphis. 9:15 is Knicks Timberwolves. 8:15 is Bucks Hawks. Even Kings at Golden State at 10 o'clock could be good. 9:45 is Brooklyn at Dallas. And then, so November 8th is Election Day. So there will be no games on Election Day. So that is an interesting move by the NBA that they decided to do that. So November 9th and Wednesday, 13 games. I don't know if we'll have ESPN this night because college basketball normally starts around that time, and they usually like to air college basketball. Actually, no, there is an NBA game on ESPN that night. At 7:30, it is the Knicks at the Nets from Barclays. Pistons at the Celtics is a decent game that night, too. In the latter half of the doubleheader that night is Lakers at the Clippers again. This time, Clippers home game. Pelicans Bulls isn't bad. That's an 8 o'clock game. Same with Suns Timberwolves. Bucks Thunder's even not terrible either. And Cavs at the Kings at 10 o'clock would be fun. Thursday, November 10th, 7:30 NBA TV have the 76ers at the Hawks. That's a decent game. Eastern Final rematch from now 2 seasons ago. Friday, November 11th, 7 o'clock NBA TV have the Nuggets at the Celtics. So there's college basketball on this night. Or it might be college football. 9:30 ESPN, Timberwolves Grizzlies. So there's an NBA game on that night. That's actually a good game. That's a first round rematch. Cavs Warriors at 10 o'clock. That's not a bad game. November 12th, a Saturday, 8 games. 4 o'clock p.m. Nets Clippers. That's decent. NBA TV 8:30 of the Rockets at the Pelicans. Hawks Sixers is a good game that night as well. November 13th, 7 games. A noon game. Thunder at the Knicks. That isn't terrible. No NBA TV that night. Is that the best game on the board? Oh, Timberwolves Cavaliers at 6 o'clock that night's actually pretty good. That might be a better game. And then Brooklyn at the Lakers, if those two teams were playing like 2 years ago with or whatever. But it's not what you thought it would have been at this time a year ago. That's for sure. Monday the 14th. 7 games. 7:30 NBA TV, the Thunder at the Celtics. Tuesday the 15th, 7:30 TNT of the Grizzlies at the Pelicans. So that's a decent game. 10 o'clock TNT. Oh my God. They're doing this because they think Donovan Mitchell's going to the Knicks. Knicks at the Jazz. The league is absolutely convinced that Donovan Mitchell's going to the freaking Knicks. Or else this game would not be near national TV. The league thinks it's done. Why isn't this trade done yet? Like, the Knicks are getting a lot of national games again, and their game at Utah is on TNT on a Tuesday night. They must really are convinced that Mitchell's going to New York. Clippers Mavs is a good game on that night as well. And then Brooklyn's at the Kings, which is okay. Wednesday, November 16th, 7:30 ESPN, you have the Celtics at the Hawks. Good game. Trae Young against Boston. And the 10 o'clock ESPN game is the Golden State Warriors at the Phoenix Suns. Great game. Knicks Nuggets is that night, too. That might actually be a decent game. Not as good as Warriors Suns. Thursday, November 17th, 10 o'clock NBA TV of the Nets at the Trailblazers. So 3 games that night, all late night games, some 10 o'clock and later. Friday the 18th, 11 games. 7:30 ESPN, great game between the Bucks and the 76ers from Philly. And then 10 o'clock ESPN, you have the Knicks and the Warriors. So a ton of Knick road games on national TV to start the year. I know they have a Christmas game, which we'll get to. Saturday the 19th, 5 games. 7:30 NBA TV of the Timberwolves at the Sixers, and 10 o'clock NBA TV of the Jazz at the Trailblazers. Sunday the 20th, 8 games. Knicks have a matinee in Phoenix against the Suns. That's a 3:30 Eastern game. Nets are hosting Memphis. That's decent. Miami at Cleveland, so the LeBron Bowl. 7:30 Nuggets Mavericks. That's a really good game. Monday the 21st, 8 games. So now we're in Thanksgiving territory. Hawks Cavaliers at 7 is a good game. Boston at Chicago at 8 o'clock is a good game. NBA TV at 8 o'clock, though, is Golden State at the Pelicans. 10:30 NBA TV is the Jazz at the Clippers. The 22nd, the Tuesday, 4 games. 7:30 on TNT of the Nets at the Sixers. So, Harden against the Nets. Ben Simmons is returned to Philly. Oh, my God. Wow, I just thought of that. Oh, baby, get ready for the Boo Birds in Philadelphia for Ben Simmons. Or watch, he's going to sit in this game for a fake injury. And then 10 o'clock, you have the Lakers at the Suns, which is an okay game depending on the Lakers. The 23rd of November, 12 games, the day before Thanksgiving. 7:30 ESPN, you have the Mavs at the Celtics. Good game. And 9:30 on ESPN, or 10 o'clock on ESPN, my bad, is the Clippers at Golden State, which is a really good game. No games on Thanksgiving. That's the NFL's date. Black Friday, November 25th, 14 games. I think NBA TV has games that night because usually it's college football on ESPN. The NBA TV at 8 o'clock that night, the Pelicans at the Grizzlies. And 10:30 NBA TV is the Nuggets at the Clippers. Saturday the 26th, 4 games. 8 o'clock NBA TV at the Thunder at the Rockets. So Chet Holmgren met Jabari Smith. Sunday the 27th, Miami at the Hawks at 5 o'clock that night. That's pretty good. Golden State and Minnesota at 3:30. That's a decent game. 6 o'clock that night's Memphis at the Knicks. Sixers at the Magic could be okay. 8 o'clock NBA TV, the Mavericks at the Bucks, so Luka at Giannis. Monday the 28th, 10 games, 7 o'clock, you have the Hawks at the 76ers. Embiid against Trey. Obviously, conference finals rematch from a few years ago. Tuesday the 29th, 7:30 TNT, you have the Warriors at the Mavericks. That's a great game. Western Finals rematch. And 10 o'clock NBA TV, you have the Clippers at the Blazers. So, 2 Western Conference games on TNT that night. And then Knicks Pistons is on that night, too. That's actually an okay game. Wednesday the 30th, 7:30 NBA TV, you have the Heat at the Celtics. Good game. Eastern Finals rematch. Bucks at the Knicks is that night, too, from the Garden. Not bad. Philly at Cleveland at 7 o'clock that night as well. And at 10:30 on NBA TV, we have the Blazers at the Lakers. And then one game on December 1st, it's between the Mavs and the Pistons. I don't understand why there's only one game that night. Friday the 2nd, 11 games of December. ESPN 7:30, you have the Lakers at the Bucks, so LeBron at Giannis. And then 10 o'clock ESPN, you have the Bulls at the Warriors, so Lonzo at Golden State. Saturday, December 3rd, 12:30, you have the Knicks hosting Dallas, so Jalen Brunson against his former team. Any other decent games? Thunder Timberwolves has a chance. That's an 8 o'clock at night game. Sunday, December 4th, 8 games. 6 o'clock's Boston at Brooklyn. That's not bad. And Cavs at Knicks. That's pretty decent. 9 o'clock NBA TV of the Pacers at the Trailblazers. Monday, December 5th. 8:30 NBA TV of the Suns at the Mavericks. Tuesday, December 6th. 7:30 TNT of the Lakers at the Cavaliers. So LeBron back in Cleveland. And then on TNT at 10 o'clock, you have the Mavs at the Nuggets. So Luka at Jokic. December 7th, 11 games. 7:30 ESPN, Hawks Knicks from the Garden. So Trae Young back at MSG. And then the nightcap on ESPN that night at 10 o'clock is the Suns hosting the Celtics. Thursday, December 8th, 3 games. 7:30 NBA TV of the Clippers and the Heat. And 10 o'clock on NBA TV of the Nuggets at the Trailblazers. Friday, December 9th. 7:30 on ESPN, you have the Lakers at the Sixers. So LeBron at Embiid. And then the latter half of the doubleheader is Bucks at the Mavericks. Saturday, December 10th. I'm wondering if this is where Saturday prime time begins. Let's see. Alrighty. Yes, it does. I called it. Celtics at the Warriors. So the finals rematch on ABC. The first Saturday primetime game of 2022-23 season. It's the rightful one. It's the Celtics at the Warriors. That's a great game to start off Saturday primetime. Sunday, December 11th. Suns Pelicans at 3:30. That's not bad. Even Lakers Pistons and Sacramento Knicks isn't bad. Raptors Magic isn't bad. 6:30 Bulls Hawks. Monday, December 12th. NBA TV 8 o'clock. Hawks Grizzlies. So Trae at Ja. And then 10:30 NBA TV is the Celtics at the Clippers. That's pretty decent. Tuesday, December 13th. 7:30 TNT. Warriors at the Bucks. That could be next year's NBA Finals. And then 10 o'clock TNT is Boston Lakers. Wednesday, December 14th. 7:30 on ESPN, you have the Knicks at the Bulls. So Julius Randle and RJ Barrett at Lonzo and DeRozan. And then 9:30 or 10 o'clock on ESPN is the Timberwolves at the Clippers from Staples. Or Crypto.com Arena. My bad. Thursday, December 15th, 4 games. NBA TV 8 o'clock is the Bucks at the Grizzlies, and then 10:30 NBA TV is the Suns at the Clippers. Friday, December 16th, 10 games. 7:30 ESPN is the Warriors at the Sixers, so Steph at Joel. And then the latter half of the doubleheader is Nuggets at the Lakers. And Knicks Bulls is again on Friday night, so that's 2 in a row for the Knicks at Chicago. That's weird. Sunday, December 17th, do we have another Saturday primetime game? No, we do not. We have 2 on NBA TV, though. Heat at the Spurs at 5 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock, you have the Pelicans at the Suns. Sunday, December 18th, 7 games. And I just realized there's probably Saturday games in the NFL that day. That's probably why there's not Saturday primetime, which makes sense. All right, so Sunday, December 18th, no national games. Best game on the board, probably Golden State Toronto at 6 o'clock. That's the finals rematch from 2019. Except no Durant or Kawhi. So it's not really one. Monday, December 19th. NBA TV at 9 o'clock. You have the Lakers at the Suns. Toronto Sixers is that night too at 7. That's a decent game. 8 o'clock is Mavs at the T-Wolves. That's not bad. Bucks Pelicans isn't bad either. Wow. And even Trailblazers Thunder at 8 isn't bad. Tuesday the 20th. 7:30. TNT. Stephen Curry and the Warriors at Madison Square Garden to take on R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and potentially Donovan Mitchell and the New York Knicks. So, the Knicks getting a lot of respect here, thinking that Donovan Mitchell's going to be wearing blue and orange. So that's really interesting. And Steph at the Garden's always an eventful moment for the league. Bulls at Heat's a good game that night as well. And at 10 o'clock on TNT is the Grizzlies at the Nuggets, which is an excellent game too. Could be the top 2 seeds in the West come next season. Wednesday, December 21st, I'm interested to see if there's any ESPN games that night because there could be college football bowl games. So it's probably NBA TV. We'll see. Yup, NBA TV, 7:30, Warriors at the Nets. So Steph at Durant. Toronto's at the Knicks. 8 o'clock's Mavs T-Wolves is good. NBA TV, 10:30 is the Hornets at the Clippers. Thursday, December 22nd, NBA TV, 9 o'clock is the Wizards at the Jazz. So right now that's Bradley Beal at Donovan Mitchell. But it's probably not going to be Bradley Beal at Donovan Mitchell. It's probably going to be Bradley Beal at the Jazz. Assuming that Beal isn't traded. Friday, December 23rd, 14 games. Probably an NBA TV doubleheader because of college football. NBA TV, 7:30 is the Timberwolves and the Celtics. Bulls Knicks is that night as well. So is Raptors, Cavs, Bucks, Nets. There's a lot of good games on that night. Pacers, Heat at 8 o'clock. And then there's an ESPN game. At 10 o'clock, it's the Grizzlies at the Suns. Not a bad game. That's actually a really, really good game. And then Christmas Day, 12 o'clock, ESPN. 76ers at the Knicks. 2:30, ABC and ESPN. Lakers, Mavericks. 5 o'clock, ABC and ESPN. Bucks, Celtics. And in primetime, Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Lisa Salters, Grizzlies, Warriors. Of course, that's the primetime game. It absolutely should be. It's Ja against Steph. It's the Western semifinals rematch. So, of course, it is. And then 10:30 on ESPN is the Nuggets hosting the Suns. All right, Monday, December 26th, 7 games. 7 o'clock NBA TV have the Nets at the Cavaliers. And 10 o'clock on NBA TV have the Hornets at the Trailblazers. Tuesday, December 27th, 10 games. I don't think it's going to be TNT because of Christmas week, but I could be wrong. Let's find out. It is NBA TV. 7:30 Lakers. I'm sorry, the Clippers at Toronto. I said the wrong LA team. Phoenix at Memphis that night at 8 o'clock. That's not bad. Jalen Brunson back in Dallas. 8:30 is Knicks Mavs. And then 10 o'clock NBA TV is the Hornets at the Warriors. Again, the Hornets-Warriors obsession with LaMelo and Curry and then that whole history thing. And Nuggets-Kings is on that night. That's a good game. December 28th, a Wednesday, 8 games. I don't think we'll see an ESPN game unless it's at later at night because it's college football bowl season. 7:30 NBA TV, you have the Lakers at the Heat. And 10 o'clock on NBA TV, you have the Nuggets and the Kings. Thursday, December 29th, 6 games. NBA TV, Clippers at Celtics at 7:30. Friday, December 30th, 9 games. Probably not ESPN because of college football bowl games. NBA TV, 7:30, Lakers Hawks. And 10 o'clock NBA TV of the Blazers at the Warriors. New Year's Eve, 9 games. You might have a couple on NBA TV. We'll see. No, none of them are. Best game on the board that night, though. 7 o'clock's the Cavs at the Bulls. That's actually a decent game. But the best one is probably Pelicans at the Grizzlies at 8 o'clock. So it's Zion and CJ against Ja. New Year's Day, 3 games. All at 8 o'clock, and none of them are on TV. It's Kings, Grizz, Wiz, Bucks, and Celts, Nugs. Monday, January 2nd, 11 games. Probably an NBA TV game or a few in there. Ooh, a rare matinee game on January 2nd from MSG. The Suns at the Knicks. So that's interesting. You don't see that very often. January 2nd matinee game. New Orleans at Phillies that night. That's a good game. Miami at the Clippers is good too. Nuggets, Timberwolves is a good game. Hawks at the Warriors at 10 o'clock is a good game. Some good games on that night. Tuesday, January 3rd, probably the return of TNT. No, NBA TV. Wizards, Bucks at 8. Wednesday, January 4th, probably ESPN games on that night, if not NBA TV because of college bowl games. ESPN, 7:30, Bucks at the Raptors. That's a good game. Finally, the Raptors getting some respect. Suns at the Cavs is that night too. That's a good game. Nets at Bulls, depending on Durant. And then 10 o'clock on ESPN is the Heat at the Lakers. So Miami at LeBron. Thursday, January 5th. Let's see if there's TNT on that night. Yup. 7:30, Celtics at the Mavs. And then 10 o'clock is Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets. Whenever I say LA, I have Lakers in my head. Friday the 6th. 7:30, ESPN, the Bulls at the Sixers. Good game. Knicks at Raptors at night. That's decent. Nets at the Pelicans at 8:30. Not bad. And 10 o'clock ESPN is the Heat at the Suns. And then LeBron hosting Trey and the Hawks that night too. Interesting. Saturday the 7th, 5 games. Let's see if... I don't think there's any on ABC because ABC probably has an NFL playoff game that night. All right, there's 5 games. Best game on the board. There's none of them on national TV. Pelicans Mavs is the best game, hands down. It's Zion at Luka. Sunday the 8th, there's probably not national games. Maybe on NBA TV because of NFL. Oh, no, it's the last weekend of the regular season. I just realized that. It's not playoffs in the NFL yet. Best game on the board on the 8th of January, I would say... if the teams are intact, the Brooklyn at Miami game. Cavs Suns has sleeper potential, so does Hawks Clips. Monday the 9th of January, 7:30 NBA TV, you have the Bulls at the Celtics. Bucks at Knicks is that night as well. Tuesday, January 10th, 7 games, 7:30 TNT. The Pistons at the Sixers. Good for the Pistons getting a TNT game with Cade and Ivy at Embiid and Harden. And at 10 o'clock, TNT of the Suns at the Warriors. Wednesday, January 11th, 7:30 ESPN, you have the Bucks at the Hawks. And 10 o'clock on ESPN, you have the Rockets at the Kings. So, Jabari and Jalen Green at Sacramento. That's probably the worst doubleheader. At least of a nightcap game. Not the day cap, but the first half of the doubleheader is pretty good. On Thursday, January 12th, 7:30 TNT of the Celtics at the Nets. So, Tatum at Durant. 10 o'clock TNT, the Mavs at the Lakers. So, Luka at LeBron. Friday, January 13th, 7:30 ESPN. You have the Warriors at the Spurs. That game sucks. Oh, my God. The Warriors are probably going to crush them that night. And then 10 o'clock on ESPN is the Nuggets at the Clippers. Good game. Saturday, January 14th. Don't think you'll see ABC this night because I think there's NFL playoff games that ABC is going to be airing. Actually, no, there is an ABC game on that day. But it's during the day. It's 1 o'clock. It's the Bucks at the Heat. I was not expecting that, so that caught me off guard. So there's probably going to be a playoff game in the NFL at night that night. Sunday, January 15th. There's a TNT game, Philly at the Lakers. NBA TV. Martin Luther King Day, 9 games, 1 o'clock, NBA TV of the Celtics at the Hornets. 3:30, TNT of the Heat at the Hawks. 6 o'clock, TNT of the Suns at the Grizzlies. So the Hawks and the Grizzlies always get MLK home games. And so does the Knicks usually, but the Knicks aren't on TNT this year. They're hosting Toronto. And then 10:30 NBA TV that night of the Rockets at the Lakers. Tuesday, January 17th, 7:30, TNT, the Raptors at the Bucks. And 10 o'clock TNT is the Sixers at the Clippers. That's decent. The 18th of January, 9 games, 7:30 ESPN, you have the Hawks at the Mavs. So Trey at Luka. 10 o'clock ESPN, you have the Timberwolves at the Nuggets. Thursday, January 19th, 3 o'clock NBA TV, you have the Bulls at the Pistons from Paris. 7:30 TNT, you have the Warriors at the Celtics. So finals rematch part 2 in Boston. And the latter half TNT game at 10 o'clock is the Nets at the Suns. Could that be Durant in the Suns uniform against the Brooklyn Nets? All right, Friday the 20th. 7:30 on ESPN is the Heat at the Mavericks. So Luka hosting Jimmy Butler and Bam. Knicks at Hawks is that night too. So is Warriors at Cavs. 2 other decent games. And 10 o'clock on NBA TV, on ESPN is the Grizzlies at the Lakers. All right, Saturday, January 21st. Let's assume ABC doesn't have any playoff games that night. We'll see if there's a Saturday primetime. No, there's not. So the best game on the board that day, Celtics Raptors at 5 is a good one. Bucks at the Cavs at 7:30 is a good one. So I guess it's the Celtics at the Raptors. That's the best game. And then Sunday, January 22nd. No national games that day too. Best game on the board is 8:30, Nets at the Warriors, and that's assuming that everybody's still intact at Brooklyn. Although Grizzlies Suns get to mention too. That's a really good game. Shouts to Clippers Mavs. That's decent too. Monday, January 23rd. 8 o'clock NBA TV of the Hawks at the Bulls. And at 10:30 is the Grizzlies at the Kings on NBA TV. Tuesday, January 24th. 7:30 TNT of the Celtics at the Heat. Cavs at Knicks that night too. Same with the Nuggets at the Pelicans. And 10 o'clock on TNT of the Clippers at the Lakers. Wednesday, January 25th. 10 games. 7:30 ESPN, you have the Nets at the Sixers. So Ben Simmons in Philly again. And then 10 o'clock on ESPN is the Grizzlies at the Warriors. Excellent game. Thursday, January 26th. 7:30 on TNT is the Bulls at the Hornets. So Lonzo at LaMelo. Knicks Celtics is a better game. And arguably Pistons at the Nets too, assuming Durant's still there. And 10 o'clock TNT of the Mavericks at the Suns. That's a really good game. Playoff rematch. Friday, January 27th. Only 5 games on the slate. 7:30 NBA TV of the Grizzlies at the Warriors. And then 10 o'clock on NBA TV, the Raptors at the Warriors. So I wonder if there's college basketball that night to where they're booted from ESPN. Or maybe hockey. It's either hockey. It could be college basketball. Oh, the X Games are around that time too. Saturday, January 28th, 11 games. 3 o'clock, ABC, Nuggets at the Sixers. So the best big men in the league. You have Jokic and you have Embiid. 5:30 ABC, the Knicks at the Nets from Barclays. Whoa! That's really fun. So Knicks at Durant in Brooklyn. Assuming Durant's still there. And then Saturday primetime from TD Garden, Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Lakers, Celtics. So what a triple header on ABC that day. 3 great games. Sunday, January 29th. NBA TV 8 o'clock is the Pelicans at the Bucks. So that's probably the Sunday of the NFC and AFC championship games in football. Monday, January 30th, 7:30 NBA TV of the Lakers at the Nets. So LeBron at Durant potentially. And 10 o'clock on NBA TV is the Hawks at the Trailblazers. Tuesday, January 31st, 7:30 TNT. LeBron James and Los Angeles Lakers at Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, and the New York Knicks from the Garden. Heat at Cavs that night, too, is actually pretty good. So the LeBron Bowl and LeBron at the Garden. So LeBron at the Garden and Steph at the Garden are both on TNT. Interesting. And the 10 o'clock TNT is a really good game. It's Pelicans Nuggets. Wednesday, February 1st, 7:30 on ESPN is Nets at the Celtics. Good game. And then 10 o'clock on ESPN, you have the Hawks at the Suns. So really good doubleheader. Thursday, February 2nd, 7:30 TNT of the Grizzlies at the Cavaliers. Heat Knicks is that night too, but Grizzlies Cavs is arguably a better game. Although the more marquee is probably Heat Knicks, but Grizzlies Cavs might be the better game. Because you have Garland against Ja. And 10 o'clock on TNT of the Clippers at the Bucks. That's a late time for a Milwaukee Bucks home game. That's crazy. I wonder if that's going to get moved to 7 and 9:30. Like, I can't believe the Bucks have a 10 o'clock game at home. I know the Blackhawks have had it and the Bulls in Chicago, so it would, in theory, make sense because it's the same time zone. Friday, February 3rd, 8 games. 7:30 on NBA TV, you have the Suns at the Celtics. And then, so no ESPN game that night. It's probably college basketball. Saturday, February 4th. So this is the Pro Bowl weekend. 7 o'clock that night is Clippers at the Knicks. Saturday prime time is Mavs at the Warriors. So Luka at Steph. Great game. Sunday, February 5th. So this would normally be Super Bowl Sunday, but Super Bowl Sunday's February 12th. We'll get there. 6 o'clock on ESPN. Sixers Knicks again from the Garden. So both Philly at Knicks games are on ESPN. Monday, February 6th, 8 games. 7:30 NBA TV of the Clippers at the Nets. And 10 o'clock NBA TV of the Bucks at the 76ers. Or I'm sorry, the Trailblazers. Why did I say the 76ers? I had that in my head. That would have been weird if the Sixers had a 10 o'clock at night home game. Tuesday, February 7th, 7 o'clock, you have the Knicks at the Magic. Phoenix at the Nets at 7:30. That's a really good game. TNT, though, Hawks at the Pelicans, so Trey at Zion. 10 o'clock NBA TV. Or I'm sorry, TNT. The Timberwolves at the Nuggets. Wednesday, February 8th, 7:30 on ESPN is the Sixers at the Celtics. Really good game in the Eastern Conference. And 10 o'clock, you have the Mavs at the Clippers, so Luka at Kawhi and PG. Thursday, February 9th, 7:30 TNT of the Bulls at the Nets. Good game. And 10 o'clock TNT, the Bucks at the Lakers. Friday, February 10th, 11 games. 7:30 on ESPN is the Hornets at the Celtics. Knicks Sixers is that night as well. Jazz Raptors would be good if Donovan's still in Utah. 10 o'clock ESPN, a decent game between the Cavs and the Pelicans. That 10 o'clock's late for a Pelicans home game too. So that's something new that we're seeing. These central time zone teams getting 9 o'clock local starts on national television. Saturday, February 11th, 6 o'clock NBA TV of the 76ers at the Nets. Saturday prime time, 8 o'clock on ABC is the Lakers and the Warriors from Chase Center. So LeBron at Steph on Super Bowl Eve. Super Bowl Sunday, only 2 games, both during the day. 2 o'clock on ABC is Celtics hosting the Grizz. The Celtics always get the Super Bowl Sunday home game, it feels like, on ABC. The other game's Pistons, Raptors, which isn't bad either. The 13th of February, the day after the Super Bowl. 7:30 NBA TV of the Nuggets at the Heat. Nets Knicks is that night too. Surprise, that's on national TV. And then the Wizards at the Warriors is that night too. Valentine's Day, February 14th, 5 games. 7:30 NBA TV. Or I'm sorry, TNT. Celtics Bucks. I've done that so many times on this show. And then 10 o'clock on TNT of the Warriors at the Clippers. Wednesday, February 15th, 10 games. ESPN is Heat at the Nets. Knicks, Hawks, and Pistons, Celtics are that night as well. I feel like Pistons, Celtics was around February 16th last year, too. From TD Garden. So that's so weird. It's like copy and paste from last year's schedule. Like the same spot of the schedule as it was last year. except the date was different rather than the day of the week. The Cavs Sixers is that night too. That's a good game. And then the latter half of the doubleheader that night is Pelicans at the Lakers, so Zion at LeBron. Thursday, February 16th, 3 games, 7:30 TNT is the Bucks at the Bulls, and 10 o'clock TNT is the Clippers at the Suns. And then the All-Star Weekend, we come back February 23rd, 7:30 TNT, Grizzlies Sixers, 10 o'clock on TNT, Warriors Lakers. Friday, February 24th, 7:30 ESPN, the Heat at the Bucks, and 10 o'clock is the Nets at the Bulls. So the Bulls get a 10 o'clock Eastern home game, 9 o'clock local time. February 25th, Saturday primetime is Celtics at the Sixers. That's a good game. Tatum at Embiid. Pelicans Knicks is that night too. That's a decent game. So is Denver at Memphis. All right, the 26th of February, 9 games, 1 o'clock, ABC. 2020 NBA Finals rematch between the Suns and the Bucks. Or 2021 Finals rematch, my mistake. Heat Lakers was the 2020 rematch. 3:30 ABC, Lakers at the Mavs, so Luka hosting LeBron. 7:30 ESPN, Timberwolves at the Warriors, great game. And then 10 o'clock ESPN, the Clippers at the Nuggets, so a full day of basketball that day. Monday, February 27th, 7 o'clock, NBA TV, the Heat at the Sixers. Celtics Knicks is that night as well. Tuesday, February 28th, 10 games, 7:30 TNT, the Wizards at the Hawks. And 10 o'clock TNT is the Timberwolves at the Clippers. Wednesday, March 1st, 9 games, 7:30 ESPN, the Cavs at the Celtics. So the Cavs getting some respect this late in the season on ESPN. Good for them. Nets at Knicks is that night too. And then 10 o'clock on ESPN is the Pelicans at the Blazers. Thursday, March 2nd, 4 games, 7:30 TNT, the Sixers at the Mavs, so Embiid at Luka, and 10 o'clock on TNT, the Clippers at the Warriors. Friday, March 3rd, 7:30 ESPN, Nets at the Celtics. 10 o'clock, Grizzlies at the Nuggets. Heat hosting the Knicks that night, Suns at the Bulls that night. Those are okay games. Pelicans Warriors is good too. Saturday, March 4th, 6 games. Is there an ABC primetime game? Yes, it is, and it's Sixers at the Bucks. And is there any games on ABC on March 5th, the Sunday? Yes. 1 o'clock, the Suns at the Mavs, and then 3:30 is the Warriors at the Lakers. 7:30 ESPN, Knicks at the Celtics. Good game. 10 o'clock ESPN, the Grizzlies at the Clippers. Another good game. Monday, March 6th, 7 o'clock on NBA TV, Hawks at the Heat. Good rivalry game. 10 o'clock is the Pelicans at the Kings. Tuesday, March 7th, 7:30 TNT, you have the 76ers at the Timberwolves. Great game. And then at 7 or 10 o'clock on TNT, you have the Grizzlies at the Lakers. Wednesday, March 8th, 7:30 ESPN, the Mavs at the Pelicans. And 10 o'clock, you have the Toronto Raptors at the Clippers. Good on the Raptors, getting some respect there. March 9th to Thursday, 7:30 TNT, the Nets at the Bucks. So Durant at Giannis, maybe. And then 10 o'clock is the Warriors at the Grizzlies. So this is probably the weekend or the week of like the college basketball tournaments at some of these home arenas like the Garden and such. Friday, March 10th, 8 o'clock, NBA TV, the Cavs at the Heat. And 10:30, you have the Raptors at the Lakers. So the next date is Saturday, March 11th, 10 games. I'm going to throw a dart and say Knicks-Lakers is the Saturday primetime game here. Knicks at Lakers. Because that was a Saturday primetime game last year. I believe it was the night before the Super Bowl. And the Lakers came back and defeated the Knicks in overtime. Let's see if that's a rematch of that game. And the Saturday primetime game is the Bucks at the Warriors. So that's even a better game than Knicks-Lakers. I thought it was going to be Knicks-Lakers. Swear on my bones it was going to be Knicks-Lakers. But Knicks are at the Clippers that day at 4 o'clock. So Bucks at the Warriors at 8:30 on Saturday primetime. And then Sunday, March 12th, the Knicks at the Lakers is actually 9 o'clock on ESPN that night. And it'll probably be called by the 3 gentlemen that called that Knicks-Lakers game last year. Monday, March 13th, usually ESPN has games on the Monday after the tournament brackets unveiled. So, Grizzlies at the Mavs is ESPN 7:30 Monday night on March 13th. That's a good game. And 10 o'clock is the Suns at the Warriors. Tuesday, March 14th, 7:30 NBA TV, the Nuggets at the Raptors. And then 10 o'clock NBA TV, the Bucks at the Suns. NBA TV has those games because TNT has the tournament. Or Turner has the tournament. It's the True TV. Wednesday, March 15th, 7:30 ESPN, the Sixers at the Cavs. Great game. And then 10 o'clock on ESPN is the Warriors at the Clippers. Thursday, March 15th, 5 games. NBA TV at 10 o'clock is the Magic at the Suns. And that's probably the best game on the board if you're asking me. Friday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 7:30 on NBA TV, the Warriors at the Hawks. And at 10 o'clock on NBA TV of the Mavericks at the Lakers. Saturday, March 18th, no Saturday primetime game. They don't want to interfere with ratings for the NCAA tournament. The Warriors are at the Grizzlies that night on NBA TV. Sunday, March 13th, NBA TV 8 o'clock is the Raptors at the Bucks. Monday, March 20th, NBA TV 8 o'clock is the Mavs at the Grizzlies. Tuesday, March 21st, 6 games. 7:30 of the Cavs at the Nets. 10 o'clock is Boston at Sacramento. Wednesday, March 22nd, 10 games. ESPN's probably back on the board. Yes, it is. Warriors at the Mavs at 7:30. Knicks at Heat that night as well. As 76ers, Bulls. And in the latter half of the doubleheader, Suns at the Lakers. Thursday, March 23rd, 7 o'clock on NBA TV is the Knicks at the Magic. Friday the 24th, 7 o'clock NBA TV, the Pacers at the Celtics. And 10 o'clock is the Sixers at the Warriors. Saturday, March 25th, 8 o'clock NBA TV of the Nets at the Heat. And 10 o'clock on NBA TV of the Pelicans at the Clippers. Sunday, March 26th, 6 o'clock NBA TV of the Grizzlies at the Hawks. And 8:30 NBA TV, you have the Wolves at the Warriors. Monday, March 27th, 7 o'clock NBA TV of the Bucks at the Pistons. Good on the Pistons for getting a game like that late in the year. And 9:30 is the Sixers at the Nuggets. Good game between the best two big men in the league. Tuesday, March 28th, probably back to TNT. Yup, Heat at the Raptors at 7:30. And 10 o'clock is the Pelicans at the Warriors. Wednesday, March 29th, 7:30 on ESPN is the Mavericks at the Sixers. Heat Knicks again that night. Rockets at the Nets. So James Harden's former team's going at it there. And 10 o'clock on ESPN is the Timberwolves at the Suns. And then a doubleheader on TNT on March 30th, 7:30 Celtics at the Bucks, and 10 o'clock the Pelicans at the Nuggets. Friday, March 31st, 8 o'clock on NBA TV is the Lakers at the Timberwolves, and 10:30 is the Nuggets at the Suns. Saturday, April 1st, 7:30 NBA TV, the Mavs at the Heat. Sunday, April 2nd, 13 games. 6 o'clock NBA TV, the Mavs at the Hawks. And 8:30, the Golden State Warriors at the Denver Nuggets. Tuesday, April 4th, 13 games. And there are no games on April 3rd because it's the national championship game in college basketball. So Tuesday, April 4th, 13 games. Usually ESPN gets that night, or that's the next week. Celtics at the Sixers at 8 o'clock. And 10:30 TNT game? No. Wednesday, April 5th, 8 games. 7:30 ESPN is the Bulls at the Bucks. And 10 o'clock is the Lakers at the Clippers. Every Laker-Clipper game on national TV this year. Thursday, April 6th, 7:30 TNT, the Heat at the Sixers. And 10 o'clock, the Nuggets at the Suns. Friday, April 7th, 11 games. 8 o'clock, you have the Grizzlies at the Bucks. And 10:30, the Suns at the Lakers. Saturday, April 8th, any of these on ABC? No, and they're all day games, too. Best one of those three is probably Blazers at the Clippers. Sunday, April 9th, 15 games. I guess this is the last day of the regular season. So we'll just go over that slate because they're all day games, too. 1 o'clock, Hawks, Celtics, 76ers, Nets, Hornets, Cavaliers, Magic, Heat, Pacers, Knicks, Bucks, Raptors, Rockets, Wiz, Pistons, Bulls, 3:30 Spurs, Mavericks, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Thunder, Kings, Nuggets, Jazz, Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Warriors, Trailblazers. Any of these games that could be for the play-in spots. Maybe Detroit at Chicago. If Chicago win their season, Detroit overachieves. Hawks at the Celtics is good. Philly at Brooklyn. I know one that could be for a spot in the play-in tournament. The Hornets at the Cavaliers. Could be. So, a really fun slate. Some thoughts before I go. I think they're convinced of Kevin Durant probably getting traded and Donovan Mitchell being a Knick. Those are my two biggest takeaways of the schedule. The Lakers obviously are getting their favoritism. They usually get a couple ABC games. The Knicks have an ABC game this year at Brooklyn. That game will be on ABC as long as Durant is still in a Brooklyn Nets uniform. The Miami Heat don't have any ABC games. That's a shame. So the Christmas games were correctly reported, and I correctly predicted what time slots they're each going to be in. And for the first time, that the ABC games, all three of them are going to be on ESPN simulcasted as well, not just the late primetime game, but all the other games. And then this year in Christmas, the NBA is in a war of ratings because the NFL has a couple games on that day as well. So that was a fun podcast. It's always a fun podcast to recap the NBA schedule each and every year and live react to it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.